guys, welcome to a new weekly vlog. So tomorrow I am going to the Katie Rose pool signing in Menlo Park, and she is the debut author of There Will Come a Darkness, which has been getting super good reviews. Also, Tara Sim is going to be there, who is the author of the Timekeeper series, and she is the author of the Scavenge the Stars book that is coming out in 2020, which is a Count of Monte Cristo retelling. I'm super excited about it, so I thought it was really cool that they're gonna be there. So I'm gonna go, gonna get the book, gonna get it signed, gonna film the signing. So enjoy that content, and I will talk to you guys once I'm back home.
All of these pieces for the premise and then just kind of slump them together into a book?
Well, I love the way that you asked that question, because I feel like a lot of people will ask, like, where did you get the idea for this book? Like, there's one idea, like the idea. This book has a lot of ideas, and it's sort of stuff that has just sort of been simmering in the background of my mind for a long time. So a lot of it came from things that I was studying in school. I studied history and studied a lot of periods in which people were very convinced that like an apocalypse was coming. That's like very common in history, and so that definitely went into the book. It was things like, you know, books that I had read or shows that I had watched that I loved, and things that were just sort of like stuck in my psyche that I had read at maybe like 12 years old. Like an example of that is the book Ender's Game. And it's like all sorts of random stuff that I just sort of collected.
And assimilated. Oh, I have two.
I really feel like this book is the book I've been trying to write my entire life. And I'd never really gotten there until I did. So for instance, like there are some characters in the book who I had been developing for a while before I even thought of There Will Come a Darkness as a thing. So it's just like a lot of that kind of stuff where I was like, okay, now is the time. I'm gonna put this all on the page and like see how it turns out.
What was your least favorite part of writing the book?
Okay, I have a very specific answer for this. So there's a sequence in the middle of the book, and it's a very fun sequence. I had so much fun writing it. And then there's one part in which there is a card game. And the outcome of this card game is very important for the characters and for the plot. And I literally like rewrote this card game like 37 times. I sent it to my mom, who plays poker, and I was like, does this make any sense? What's happening in this scene? And it was like really trying to balance like the rules of this game with sort of what the reader cares about, which is not the rules of the game. It's like how this game is going to shape up and like who's doing what and who's bluffing and all of that. So it was a bitch to write. And I was editing that up until like my copy edits, and the rest of the book was like done, like stamp on it, except for this scene, which I like rewrote like during copy edits. So that was probably my least favorite.
If your five main characters were stranded on a desert island, who would survive, who would perish, and who would get heat stroke and start talking to a coconut?
I love this. So I think that Ephira and Beru would probably survive, but they would have to survive by killing everyone else on the island. So
are we talking cannibalism or like
no. Well, because Ephira, the older sister, needs to like take people's energy to give to her sister to keep her alive. So I think everyone else is like, they're dead. Princess Han, definitely dead. He's like a prince. He's sheltered. He doesn't know how to live on a desert island. Anton, I think, would be the person to get heat stroke and go insane, because he's A, from the north, where it is cold, and B, he just doesn't really, he's not that mentally stable to begin with.
In terms of world building, I was really impressed with the world building that you have in this book, because it's a big world, but you focus really well on like what the reader needs to know just for book one. And like even when the characters aren't like in the place that they're talking about, you can like still like sense like what that place is and what the culture there is. And it's really easy to just like envision where the characters are and setting wise and stuff. So how did you go about making the world for this book?
So the world of this book is based on a board game called 7 Wonders of the Ancient World, which I was already writing the book, and my sister had started dating this new person who was really obsessed with this board game. They're now married, so whatever. Probably a good board game, who knows? But I was sort of trying to figure out like the setting and the world itself and what it felt like and sort of what things in our own history we could sort of compare it to, even though it is of course very different. And so we were playing this game, and for some reason it just really stuck with me, the idea of these 7 wonders, some of which are like not even proven to have ever really existed. So I was sort of like very interested in that, and ancient history itself is very interesting because it's a time of like very extreme progress, which we think of as being like very like ancient, like that is what it is. And so I sort of latched onto that. So it's a very like Mediterranean kind of setting. And my favorite detail of it is these, I have like 6 wonders. They're not really called that in the book, but they're sort of analogs to the 7 wonders. And we actually put them in the map. So if you like look
the map
inside,
is super cool.
it is so dope, you guys. So we have these like 6 wonders. So each of these like 6 cities that have been founded by the 7 prophets. There's only 6 of them. Yes, I know. So I'm just saying, what does that mean? So each of them has this sort of monument, this city monument that a lot of the city identity is sort of built around. And so for the city that we're in for much of the book, it's like this temple, and that city is known as the City of Faith. And then there's another city where the symbol is a lighthouse, and that's obviously taken directly from like the Pharos lighthouse of Alexandria. So that's kind of where it all started, and then I just sort of kept researching and kept building from there.
Not been reading like school has been literally so hectic. I have 0 free time during the week, so that's kind of inhibited my vlogging and, you know, recording and reading, so I need to figure out a better system. Regardless, I do want to talk about this bad boy. So I went to the Katie Rose pool signing. I really don't know too much about this book. From what I gathered from the signing, this is like apocalyptic, wonders of the world inspired, that's kind of centered in like a Mediterranean based city or world. Apparently people have blurbed this as 6 of Crows meets Graceling. I love both of those things. And so I'm really excited about this. I have pretty high expectations for it. And then I hung out with Allie from Allie Corberry Books. We live in the same town now. We did some thrifting. We had lunch. I didn't vlog any of it because I'm trash. I did find this baby at Goodwill, and I was so happy about it. I wanted this book for so long. This is Kings of the Wild by Nicholas Ames. This is an adult high fantasy, and it's following this group of like retired mercenaries, and they're all old and gross and fat and drunk. They're just not at their prime anymore, and like they have to go on a quest together, or they have to do, you know, they have to band up again and reunite, and that just sounds like the best thing ever. I think it's Cody who put me onto this from Cody's Book Corner. I can't remember, but maybe it was her. I don't know. Regardless, as soon as I heard about this series, I knew I wanted to read it, and I know the sequel of this features like a lesbian warrior, so there you go. I don't know how those stories connect, but I'm really excited to find out. Today though, I did finish a book. I managed to finish a book, which is truly a feat. I finished the audiobook of Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco, and not gonna lie, I'm a little disappointed in it. It's quite forgettable. I don't know if it's because I'm kind of in this reading slump and I'm kind of in like a YA slump right now, or I'm just tired of Jack the Ripper stories. Like, nothing will top Syndicate's DLC. Why even try? I really liked the first half. I thought it was really interesting as we kind of see, and if you guys don't know what Stalking Jack the Ripper is about, it's about Audrey Rose, who is this, you know, Victorian high-class lady, but she wants to be a mortician or whatever, people that like dissect dead bodies. She kind of gets wrapped up in the Ripper killings, and I really didn't like how it ended. I really didn't like the author's interpretation of the Ripper cases. I liked how she made a focus to like humanize the victims and make them just more than murdered prostitutes, but ooh, I didn't like who she decided to make Jack the Ripper. I just thought it kind of came out of nowhere. It was just, I didn't buy it. I didn't buy it. And like, obviously it's fiction. Like, we don't know who Jack the Ripper is. Could be anybody. I just didn't like her take on it. Hello. I am listening to The Picture of Dorian Gray. I'm an intellectual. I'm reading a classic. Who is she? I don't know, but where's my PhD? I fucking love it so much. I have always been pretty obsessed with the story of Dorian Gray, like, cause I've always known about it, and I, you know, watched the movie with Ben Barnes, and I've always loved Oscar Wilde's quotes and stuff every time I kind of come in contact with them, but I never really read the actual book because classics just turn me off in every sense of the word. I watched Becca from Pistachio Paperbacks wrap up, and she listened to the audiobook for The Picture of Dorian Gray, and she was saying how good it was, and I was like, that takes the effort away, and I get to listen to a British dude talk, which is just great. Oscar Wilde really is that bitch. He is a genius. I am loving it so much. Just the examination of romanticism and beauty and narcissism and aesthetics, and it's just really so amazing. Like, I could have never imagined that this was as good as it is, and it's not even difficult to read at all. Like, obviously I'm listening to it, but like the language, there's not like a hurdle with that. It really is one of the best things I've ever read in my life. Oh my god, that is so fucking crazy to me. I am such an anti-classic ass bitch. I just do not understand the appeal. I just thought it just wasn't my genre for me, which is, you know, totally valid, but this is really good, and I'm definitely curious to see if this is just Oscar Wilde and I just really love him. He is such a Slytherin, oh my god, and he's a Libra. Ooh, he's just he is 100% a son of Aphrodite for sure, so love him. Hello. So I just opened my mail and I won a giveaway of Lifestyle of Gods and Monsters by Emily Robertson. Robertson. Yes. That is such an author name. Don't you guys ever think about that when you like look at authors and how their names just sound like authors, but then you look at your own name and you're like, I could never imagine that name on a book. Not even for self-insecurity reasons, more just like the vernacular makeup of your name. Maybe that's just me. I've never really liked my name. I don't know why we've gotten on this tangent. I wanted this book, obviously. It's one of my most anticipated reads of the year, even though I forgot to mention it on my anticipated releases of the year. But I also forgot The Toll by Neil Shusterman, so I have been canceled since that video. I actually didn't know what the synopsis of this book was until I read the back, because I just saw Gods and Monsters and I saw the cover and that's all I need to know. So I'll read you the back. 16-year-old Ariadne's whole life is curated and shared with the world. Her royal family's entertainment empire is all over social media, beloved by the tabloids and the hottest thing on television. The biggest moneymaker? The Labyrinth Contest, a TV extravaganza in which Ariadne leads 14 teens into a maze to kill a monster. To win means endless glory, to lose means death. In 10 seasons, no one has ever won. Sounds like Hunger Games to me. Hopefully, I can get to this soon. I would like to maybe film a review for this. That would be nice. Hi, so I actually managed to read something. I finished Great Goddesses: Life Lessons from Myths and Monsters by Nikita Gill. This is a poetry collection of feminist Greek mythology tales. There have been quite a lot of feminist Greek myth retelling poetry collections that I have read. It's been a very big theme of this year and I am so happy about it. I really enjoyed this. As of course, obviously, this is a 5-star for me. I will likely always give feminist retellings of Greek mythology 5 stars. It's just something that is new in development in them and it's very much needed, but not only because of the necessity of kind of these reimaginings of mythology, it's really good. They're really good stories in here. This is split up into like 4 sections. We get the Titans, then we get the gods, then we get the monsters, and then we get the mortals. And so it's kind of going through this timeline. One of my absolute favorite things about mythology is just every single person has a different interpretation of myths, and this is just one example of how Nikita Gill personally sees these gods and these creatures of myths. There's also these really cool drawings in here. My favorite one is of Hestia, this one right here. I kind of want to color them. I think it would be a really fun idea. Hello, sorry for the bad lighting. Despite me being a Leo, I cannot control the sun. Otherwise, I would have golden hour lighting on me at all times. I just went to the library, as you guys would have seen, and I picked up a few things. So first, 6 of Crows, the audiobook, but like the CD format. I really want my dad to listen to 6 of Crows. So we're gonna have to figure out how we can use these but still like speed them up, because he's definitely not gonna want to listen to it normal speed. How iconic would it be if my dad read 6 of Crows? And then I picked up Grimoire Noir. I don't know what it's about. It just seems like a witch hunter story and it's a noir kind of graphic novel. The art looks pretty cool. So, you know, I'm always a slut for graphic novels. Another graphic novel I got, well, it's a manga, but Sakoto and Nada. I've been hearing a whole bunch of buzz around this. Specifically, Whitney reminded me of this. And I just know that it's about a Muslim girl and a Japanese boy and their friendship. So, really cute. It's really short. So, I saw it and I picked it up. Then, I picked up Queens of Fenburn by Kendara Blake. This is the prequel novella to the Three Dark Crown series. And Carly said that I need to read this before I read Five Dark Fates. So, I picked that up. Then I picked up The Raven's Tale by Kat Winters. It's an Edgar Allan Poe retelling. Just says, when young Poe meets his muse, the world will change forevermore. So angsty, so dramatic. Then I picked up The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. This is the first time I'm announcing this on my channel. Ooh, I'm really bad at that. The Hazelwood is the first pick of the Cover Whores book club, which is the book club I'm hosting with Carly because we're both capitalistic, materialistic Leos. And basically, it's just, we read books with pretty covers without knowing anything about the synopsis. This one, we both do kind of know a bit about the synopsis, like a little bit. I just know that it kind of follows this girl, and her grandma wrote these fairy tales, and she has to go to the Hazelwood where she lived, I guess, and there's some weird things going on. Julie from Pages and Pens says this is like a blend of like contemporary fantasy, and I don't know, that just sounds really intriguing to me. So right now I am going to go to Walmart. I really need a planner. And I also really need some notebooks because my strategy with college is literally to not be prepared. I go into class like the first week of school with one notebook, no textbooks, one pen, because I used to be one of those bitches who would prepare and like buy all this shit and buy the books and all of that, and then I end up not even needing it. So I have adopted this system of waiting until I actually know what I need. I just finished the picture of Dorian Gray. Oh my god! That was like one of the best things I've ever read in my life. Oh my god! It might just be like my second favorite book of all time. Once I get my hands on my own copy, I'm literally going to highlight almost every single line because Oscar Wilde is a genius. If you are at all interested in the story of Dorian Gray, highly, highly, highly recommend picking it up because it is so incredibly amazing. I just need to cut off this clip right now because I don't even know how to talk about it right now, so I need to gather my thoughts. 5 stars, all the 5 stars. Oh my god, so amazing. Hi, so I decorated my little filming setup, so I'm going to show you because I think it looks pretty cute. So it looked better when I had all my candles lit and everything, but I'm not going to do that again. I did it for the picture and that's that on that. So I have the little ghost lights, which are pretty much like the biggest difference, and then I put black roses with my little pink ones, and then I have this little, I don't know what this is called, but it looks nifty, I guess. And then I put Darkwood, Nevernight, Three Dark Crowns, and 6 of Crows. I just put them because they kind of match. And then I have this little ghost guy. I have this little pumpkin. I got this little ghost guy. Another little pumpkin. Nothing really over here. I can't mess up Aphrodite's shrine. That's a no-go. And then over here, I put these little bats on my tapestry. And I think they look so cute. I love them. And then I have this little skull guy right here. His name is Benjamin. I don't know why. It just came to me. And then we got little Palace right here. You know, because Athena. And then I don't have anything else different down here. So that's my little spooky decorations for the year. I think it looks real cute and I'm happy about it. Look at what just came in! I mean, you don't know because obviously you don't know my order history. If you guys do, you'd be like, ooh, somebody take away that girl's credit card. I know what this is. And I'm sure you guys can kind of assume what it is. Oh my gosh! Right now. Oh my gosh, look at it! He's so cute. He's living his best life. Now I have no excuse and I need to start God's Grave and I need to finish it. Hey guys, so I just wanted to come on here and give a last update before I end the vlog. So on my way home from school, I started listening to Darkest Part of the Forest by Holly Black, and oh my god, I am so surprised at how much I'm loving it right now. It's like an urban fantasy, but it takes place in this town where everybody knows fairies exist and they kind of just accept this fact. And it's kind of like a tourist trap because in their forest there is this fairy prince who has been encased in a glass coffin for like centuries upon centuries. It's a story set in modern day, in a modern day town, like it's a small town, and everybody just accepts like the fae and like they know of their existence and they kind of have this kind of bargain. It's a lot like Strange Grace in that aspect, but just like kind of modern day and with fairies instead of like the devil and all that stuff. And I didn't realize that was a niche aesthetic and environment and like concept that I am so in love with. So please, 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 if you know any books that kind of have that similar setup where it's like modern day or even not modern day, I'm totally cool with that too. But just like that, the fact that like an entire town just kind of accepts this way of life, I would be so down for that. I think the plot is really interesting. I love the character Jack in here, background and how he grew up. I think that is so fascinating. My favorite parts about this book aren't even really the fae aspects of it. Of course, obviously that's like a plus, but it's really like the characters that I'm really, really loving about it. Depending on if the ending is like really shit, it's definitely like a strong 4 stars for me. I am really, really enjoying it and I'm very pleasantly surprised about it. Pretty much the only update I have reading wise, so I'm just gonna close off this vlog right now. I read 3 books this week. The first book I read was Stalking Jack the Ripper by Carrie Maniscalco. I gave this a 3 out of 5 stars. I was depending between like a 3.5 and a 3, but I really think I think I'm gonna give it a 3 star. And then I finished Great Goddesses by Nikita Gill, which I gave 5 out of 5 stars. And I finished The Picture of Dorian Gray by Oscar Wilde, which I also gave 5 out of 5 stars. And it has become one of my favorite books of all time. I have no regrets. Honestly, one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life was picking up this book. The Picture of Dorian Gray had such strong messages of like philosophy and, like I said, romanticism. It's both the pinnacle of the romantic movement, but also criticizes the romantic movement. It's honestly, it kind of has very similar vibes to The Secret History, not in the sense of plot or characters. I mean, kind of characters in a way, because obviously the characters are very unlikable in Dorian Gray as well. But I think Donna Tartt was trying to kind of emulate Oscar Wilde in her discussions of like aesthetics and, you know, romanticism. And honestly, Dorian Gray also had way more Greek references than The Secret History did, so yeah, and like better plot, better metaphors, better characters, better execution, better quotes, better everything. So if you do like the Secret History, I really recommend Dorian Gray, because I feel like you would really like the messages and the metaphors and all that stuff, because Oscar Wilde does a better job than Donna Tartt could ever dream of. It's timeless, it's beautiful, it's cohesive, it's a short-ish story. I think it's only 200 pages, so highly recommend. So yeah, that is all for this vlog. Make sure to tune in next week, because tomorrow your girl is going to a Madeline Miller signing. I'm meeting the icon herself. Will I cry? No. Will I cry inside? Yes. I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog, and if you didn't, tune in next week. Bye.